Good evening, everyone. I'm Willie Bragg, host of the Willie Bragg Show. Welcome back. I am 10 minutes late, but better late than never. Had this thing scheduled 7 ahead of some technical difficulties, but I took care of it. Um, French election. There was a French election, and I'll put it this way: while the American election is something, American elections are something to never or rarely ever get excited about. It's something to rarely ever get excited about. And even when we do get excited by an election, we get let down real quick. Um, Britain, yeah, I would say that maybe a Keir Starmer victory in Britain might be marginally better than a Joe Biden victory here in the United States, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much. In France, however, not only was a insurgent fascist campaign of Marine Le Pen's candidacy national rally defeated. The fact that um, what's his name, Emmanuel Macron's centrism was also pretty much rejected, and this has been the first leap toward the left in France. In about, I guess, maybe in about a decade or so. There was the Holland government in France, the socialist government. That was kind of fairly short-lived. It was kind of centrist-y, but a little further left than the Macron government. But suffice to say that this government, the New Popular Front, has been a serious turn to the left in ways that has not been since the days of maybe Mitterrand, depending on how you view Francis Mitterrand. But it is definitely a left wing victory, a very left wing victory that's it was in my opinion very meaningful in ways that United States or Britain. More United States, that is. We on the left could kind of look at and takes a few lessons from. Suffice to say, the thing about it is that I love what just happened in France, and I'm going to go into it right now. So essentially, the party is called the New Popular Front, and the name of the president of France is Jean-Luc Mélenchon. And I'm sorry for butchering the name, but the president is, the new president is very base, and I am very happy for the election of Jean-Luc Mélenchon. Okay, that's how you pronounce the name. That's good. So, yeah, this is the new president right here, and his party, the New Popular Front Party, is a coalition of many different parties, ranging from the center left to the far left. It's ranging from groups like I believe that the center left Socialist Party is in this coalition. The Green Party's in this coalition. The Communist Party and some other parties and his party. Let me find that name of that party he belongs to. Let me slide that thing forward back over here. Let's see. Is it called the La France? Is I kind of want to go and France Unabowed is the English translation for it. La France Insoumise. I cannot pronounce the name. I apologize. But the English translation is essentially France Unbowed. and the platform basically, like most of the other parties' platform, would be you know democratic socialism, left wing populism. Same thing with the left party, democratic socialism, left wing populism. You know, so and some of these other parties that they're kind of involved as allies. So anyway, basically, what the French election was about was essentially a rejection of austerity. And sometimes when you have a centrist government, you get you get populist forces out there that they're just absolutely beside themselves and what needs to be the answers. I mean, we saw that here a decade ago with the rise of Donald Trump, who offered populism, but he offered a lot of reactionary politics. Um, Very similar to what Marine Le Pen offered. Um, I would say that maybe her economic platform was a little more honest toward the left than, let's say, Donald Trump, because the politics of France is the Overton windows much further left than it is here in the United States. So even really horrible right wing movements are going to have to be more succinct to the realities of the day, and they're going to go and embrace some aspects of the Overton window, what you call the reality. It's kind of like how the United States love has to. We don't have to, but we do it anyway. I don't accept the realities of the right wing Overton windows that exist here in the United States. So that's basically the point I'm trying to make. And so, yes, they while they did offer xenophobia and homophobia and basically authoritarian social conservatism, depending on who's which audience are voting for them, which core constituencies are voting for them. For some, it's religious repression. Not to beat up on the Catholic Church or anything, because there's a lot of good Catholics out there and a lot of progressive Catholics. But there are probably in France. There's probably a lot of traditional right-wing Catholics who wants to see France goes back to a more traditionalist way of life, sort of like their version of the religious right. They want to go and vote that way, so they'll go and vote for a national front. Then you got people who take it a step further and want to go into a more darker direction with the extreme anti-immigrant sentiment, like expelling, the Arab populations out of France, or and if you really, really take it to its extreme conclusion, people of color, expelling the Jewish population, pushing LGBTQ people right back into the closet, that sort of thing. And to the point of Holocaust denial, because you have to remember that the National Rally's original name was the National Front, and they pretty much preached a neo-Nazi message back in the day. But they did a makeover, and they tried to kind of fool people into thinking, "Oh, this is not who we are," what have you. But I can guarantee you, that's what they are. Because in France, in the UK, a similar group called the National Front became the British National Party. Same shit. Think that the French, the National Rally in France did a slightly better job in public relations than the British National Party, but it's a similar platform in that regard. But Jean Mélenchon is the new president of France, and I do appreciate him being the new president. And some of the things in the platform, as I said, is a broad alliance with a center left and a far left faction. And some aspects of the platform calls for and an increase in after tax minimum wage of 1,600 euros per month, price freezes on necessities and emergency bills, investment in social housing. And let me tell you about social housing in those countries. It beats what we have here in the United States. Rejection and deficit spending rules, basically the so-called fiscal responsibilities at the expense of working class. It sounds like they're going to throw that out of the window, which is a good thing. The first 100 days laid groundwork for proposal changes through legislative reforms covering purchasing power and healthcare sustainability, abolition of billionaire privileges, the months beyond transformation. Uh, One thing that they are going to do is when Macron was in power, he raised the retirement age from 62 to 64. The difference between France and the United States in that regard is that when Reagan raised the Social Security age from 62 to 67, the American people just sat there and took it. They did not take that shit in France. And that's like the big difference between the French and U.S. in that regard. And even though the French did lose under Macron on that battle, they certainly gave Macron something to think about. And Macron heard it, and he's going to go and work on restoring sanity to the pension retirement system in France to lower it back to 62, which is something that we should do here in the United States. We should go and lower the retirement age back to 62 at a minimum here in the United States, where everybody at the age of 62 should get their full retirement, their full Social Security. And if I had it my way, we'd do it down to 55. But that's a very good start. And the thing about it is, let's see, what else is? There are some downsides to when it comes to foreign policy. The front basically says that they have unwavering support for the Ukraine in defense against Russian aggression. And I'm putting those finger quotes there. And I think that they probably had to say that to keep the NATO off of their ass. But that is a downside in that regard. But they said they're supportive of military aid to the Ukraine. And I as I say, I have a problem with their Ukraine policy. Within the framework on Israel Palestine, they do call for a two-state solution. But while they do call for a two-state solution, they make it clear that they do support Palestine and that they are unequivocally in support of the Palestinian cause. And so and my position on that is whether it's a one-state solution or a two-state solution, I don't give a shit as long as everybody is equal in society. Personally, I would say a secular state that is neither Jewish, neither Palestinian, but has both inside, where equality exists and there's no discrimination against each other. That's what I would say. But as long as there's something that's workable for everybody, and whatever is working, nobody's getting hurt, and equality is the end game, and that's the actual existing goal when it's said and done, is what I would like to see transpire. So I'm less harsher on that than I am on the Ukraine thing. But I think that maybe between Russia and Ukraine, I think it's basically to get NATO off of their back or something. let's see. Um, they are in sharp contrast with National Front, or excuse me, National Rally on immigration. So there is that. On social policy, they pledge to introduce gender self determination, which basically I'm guessing that they mean basically is a commitment to transgender equality to be added to the equality that exists for gays and lesbians. So um, that I'm definitely cool with and all of that. So there is that. I guess that basically means bodily autonomy, which bodily autonomy for every individual is a good thing. So um, as I said, for France, I'm kind of what you would call healthily optimistic, and things can happen. And I know that even with the most benevolent governments that are elected, things can happen, and there are situations where where um, where compromise unfortunately takes place. I have a friend when I was in the SPUSA, Socialist Party USA, back in the mid 1990s. I had a British friend that named Andrew Hammer that told me this, and while he was a bit more third way than I like somebody to be, I do think he was correct when he said this. That no matter how revolutionary a movement can be, powers tend to moderate toward the center when they're handed the keys toward a power, and that's kind of what I think will probably happen. But I still think that they're going to get. I think that I'm healthily optimistic about this government, and we shall see what happens as time progresses, and hopefully France will move forward, and the age of austerity will finally be over, and hopefully that the right will be permanently defeated, in France, and France could be basically an actual model in Europe to follow, as far as human rights and everything. So um, I would say overall good for France. Wishing Jean-Luc Mélenchon you know a very good awesome time period of governing France, and restoring the social democracy that was kind of eroding away for many years under Macron. So as I said, Macron Macron is he's basically, if you want to put Macron in an American way, he's basically Joe Biden. He's basically Barack Obama. He's basically Kamala Harris. He's basically Bill Clinton. He's basically Pete Buttigieg. He's basically Hillary Clinton. That's basically maybe to the left of all of them, but he's basically those people. A very centrist person. Um, Probably more like an Elizabeth, like an Elizabeth Warren if he was put in America with the exact politics he has here, because the French opened the windows further left. I would say that Elizabeth Warren would be basically in the Emmanuel Macron camp over there. So, um, congratulations to the people of France. You chose wisely, as far as I'm concerned. Um, and yes, Macron is a tool of the rich. There's no dispute about it. There is no dispute about it. It was a great day for France a few days ago when they had the election. So So say I'm very happy for them. So, as I said, I'm going to cut this video short because I have to go to work. I have to eat and all of that. So I'll talk to everyone here real quick on the chat line, and I'm going to head on out of here. And I will do a video tomorrow. I'm going to do one on Project 2025, and then I have something to add to that afterwards. So, um, first of all, let me go ahead and before I do that, let me go say hello to Miguel. How are you doing today? And let's see. Hey, look at me. I'm all purpled up. How are you doing, Desert Mantis? Let's see. And Earl, how are you doing today? Right. Yeah, okay. I'm looking through here. I think Reagan raised it from 65 to 67. Is that correct? I thought it was 62. Oh, it could have been like a stage because I think it was 62. I do remember it was 62. It could have been in stages in 62, then to 65 and 67. And it pisses me off that there are people talking about raising it to 70. So, it just, we need to get it back to 62. The government would never want citizens retiring at 62. The government don't want to give us health care. The government don't want to do shit for the American people. But that's what you have to do. You have to go and force them to do this. And the French are good at forcing their government to listen to their population. Let's see. Macron, as I said, yes, you said it was a tool for the rich. And yes, he is. Extra Bulla. Warren, love the George Galloway impression. I hope to see more of it. Let's see. Hello. 62 is early retirement, partial, I think. Well, it is partial, and that's what I'm opting for. I'm opting for partial retirement. Now, I get the lecture from my dad. It's like, son, you got to wait till you're 67. I'm like, nothing doing. I'm 55 right now. I mean, I get my pension at 59 and a half. And when I turn 59 and a half, I get my pension from my union from the previous company that I work for. So I'm going to be getting a monthly pension in a couple of years. On top of that, I'll be getting my Social Security at 62. And people who worked for my company that I worked for previously, and I don't say where I work because the company I work for is owned by the company as a subsidiary, and it's not union. So unfortunately, the company I work for now. And if I ever change jobs, I have a lot to say about both companies. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the people who work for at a minimum of 20 years, when you combine Social Security at the age of 62 with the pension itself, you're going to be making more than you were while you were working. And that's not a bullshit line. Everybody that has retired at 62 with their partial Social Security and their pension of 20 years, 15, 20 years, what have you, they have been extremely happy with their situation. And I've worked for the company for 20 years, so for that particular company for 20 years. And just so I know that situation well. So I'm looking forward to the very idea of going through a month, making more every month, not working than I was while I was working. I know it offends some right-wing people in this country. It offends the Project 2025 crowd, which I'm going to be talking about Project 2025 tomorrow. So And but suffice to say, you know, congratulations to the French, and they have a hope of restoring common sense to their pension system, their retirement system. So, hold on. I want to retire now. I do too. I want to retire right now. See ya, Willie Bragg Show. Extra warrant. Oh, take care of Desert Mantis. So, anyway, no details as of yet, but I got notified of something that's some good news that may happen in the near future in regard to this show. So when I can get it basically affirmed and make it a done deal, I will make that announcement. So I just wanted to go and let y'all know that there's some possibility of some good news coming up very soon. So, and Warren knows what I'm talking about. So, anyway, if you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment anyway if you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show on all the platforms, all the platforms I'm on. And with regard to YouTube, I'm getting close to 1,000. So, please help out, spread the word if you can. Let people know. So, because I think that once I reach over that threshold of 1,000, it opens up new possibilities. So, help a brother out and reject corporate media. And remember to pardon Julian Assange, because he's been freed. Now we need to have him pardoned. Free Palestine, free health care for all, and of course, free speech absolutism. Y'all take care. See y'all later. Bye-bye.